All right. All right. All right. Okay, guys. It's looking a little iffy with our interwebs here. Let's hope this let's hope this works. I'm very nervous about the state of our interwebs. If it is too bad, I'll just stream on my phone. If the Wi-Fi cannot handle it, I will stream on my phone. Let me hop on real quick before we do the intro song. What's going on, everybody? I'm like looking here at the Wi-Fi signal. I'm a little bit nervous. Let me know if the sound's coming through okay. I'm going to pull it up on my phone and see what the quality of the video is, because whenever I get that Wi-Fi signal, it's scary. Okay. Looks like we're doing a little good. All right. Welcome, everybody, to a late night chill stream. It's not a chill stream. It's a political commentary stream. I know I literally just said 2 days ago I wasn't going to do politics, but we doing politics tonight, y'all. Thank y'all so much for being here. Please smash that like. Please share the stream. I will see y'all as soon as the intro video is done. God bless everybody. See you in a minute. Okay. Welcome to Exposing Powerful Lies, everybody. Thank you. Big shout out to Ty2048 for the intro song. Go subscribe to his YouTube channel, TY2048. He makes nothing but bangers. The guy's got non-stop bangers. He pumps them out once every 5 years, but they're always great when he does. So thank you so much to Ty2048, and thank you to all of the Ewok Army hanging out in the chat tonight. We got this late night stream, so I appreciate all you guys popping in. Impromptu, spur of the moment. I'm sitting here watching politics, watching news, and I'm like, there's so many of these news story. So much has happened. So I guess we're gonna do the Trump report card tonight. I guess we're gonna give my hot takes on how our Donald Trump, God Emperor King of the Autocephalous American Union, how he did in his first. How long has it been? A month and a half. So I'm going to share some of my thoughts on the critiques I've been hearing of Trump, some of my own personal critiques, and just sort of my general overview of how I'm feeling about things as they're happening. Slowboy says federal judges have reversed virtually all of his executive orders on trans, immigration, U.S. aid, etc., but somehow he doesn't need congressional approval to start a war with Iran. The system is a joke. Yeah, well, if he starts a war with Iran, then certainly, you know what I mean. It definitely is getting scary. Starting to sweat a little bit around the collar. We're starting to get a little nervous, but I'm not gonna come at him for that until it actually happens, you know, because if one thing we know about Trump is he postures a lot to negotiate, and I feel like a lot of times people misread him in that way. It's like when he mentioned the thing about owning Gaza, everybody flipped their lid, like the entire internet blew up, and I mean, rightfully so, you know, it is stupid, but it's also like he's literally just looking at this terrible situation in the desert and he's trying to create this legacy as a peacekeeper and the peacemaker, and he came in this giant mess and he's going to fix it all and make it peaceful, make everybody successful, and he's just it's like AJ says a lot. He's like an idiot savant, you know? It's like in some ways he seems so brilliant, and then in other ways he just seems like dumb, naive, out of it, you know. And he's also out of the box thinker. He's constantly, you know, coming up with these crazy ideas, and then we take him seriously because he's the president. And sometimes he just be saying stuff, dude. Sometimes he just legit throws stuff at the wall, and people freak out and think it's like this big plot or plan when it's like, no, I think he literally just said that because he thought it was a good idea and he wanted to, I don't know, maybe he wanted to screw with Bibi. Maybe he wanted to see the look on his face when he said, yeah, we're just gonna take Gaza. I think we're gonna take that for ourselves. Honestly, you know, that whole situation in Gaza is just a nightmare. And, you know, there's a lot of guys that I follow on X and stuff who are, you know, intelligent, smarter than I am, more informed than I am, and they're constantly talking about Israel and Palestine and Gaza and all that stuff. And so it's not really a subject that I'm an expert on. Obviously, I'm no fan of Israel. I'm sort of, I have a knee jerk anti Semitism in my body, and I just kind of can't help it but side against Israel pretty much in any situation ever. But it's not really like there's any good side. Like, you know, I understand the heated emotions from people, from Orthodox Christians in our circle, because it's like there's Orthodox Christians in Palestine who have been killed by Israel. So it's like you just can't help but be like angry at it. But the Muslims kill Orthodox Christians all the time as well. And again, I don't know the history of the situation, so maybe it is cut and dry and it's like, oh, you know, I just take the approach of like, I just wish for on all that is holy, like, could we just stop giving our money to these foreign wars? You know, could we just stop paying Israel to murder Christians and murder people in the desert? Like, could they just handle it? But that's one of those things, is it's like, you know, everybody's got an opinion on this stuff, but at the end of the day, like, how much do we really understand the situation? How much do we really understand how it factors into America? And it's like, it might be super easy to armchair quarterback and say, oh, well, you know, Trump bad because he supports Israel. But at the same time, it's like, well, maybe he thinks that that's what's best for America. You know, maybe he thinks, like, looking at all of the pieces on the chessboard, he's like, okay, there's this conflict going on. I can either side with Palestine and Hamas, or I can side with the Mossad and Israel. You know, it's like, I got to pick one. Now, from me, stupid, slow boy armchair quarterback, I'm like, why do you got to pick one? Why can't you just keep out of it, you know? But you hear from all these guys, you know, they're a strategic ally in the region. We need them. We need their ship in that region. It's a very important thing for them. And certainly with these JFK documents coming out, there's a lot of mentioning of Israeli intelligence and all of this stuff. And then with the Epstein stuff, all the Israeli intelligence involved in that. It's just, We've been tied in with Israel for a very long time. We know how much power they have in Congress. And at the end of the day, it's like if you want to win the election, like they're going to spend all the money to make sure you don't win if you're not pro Israel, basically, is what it seems like to me. So it just seems, if we're being real, if we're being realistic, it seems like one of those pragmatic things where, like, if you or I were running for president, if we were actually in his shoes, going to do this, trying to do something good for this country, like it seems like one of those necessary evils that you'd have to take a side on. Like you couldn't just pop in and be like, nah, screw it. Screw you guys, we're not allies anymore, and create this vacuum. And then I don't know how that all works. But like I'm saying, is it just seems like there's a lack of like realism from people. It's sort of we've talked a lot about how Israel and the subject of Israel can be used as almost like a purity test with people. Like this populist politician is great on everything, but then he's pro-Israel, so he sucks, right? Like we got that one guy in Argentina with the chainsaw. What the hell is his name? Millet. I remember when he was getting sort of popular on the internet. Immediately people came out and were like, no, but he's like mad pro-Israel. He's like hella pro-Israel. Like he said he would convert to Judaism if not for his wife, or he had some reason why he wouldn't, but he said he wanted to. And so it's like instantly like, okay, that guy's bad. But I just think that there's just going to be, there these politicians are not perfect, and we're not going to ever have our perfect guy, and that matches all of our ideals, and that is good on everything. And it seems like Israel is just a necessary evil for this global power structure. I don't know why, other than I just assume that the conspiracy theories are true, and that they want Israel, that landmass, to be like the HQ for the global homo world government system, in the future, and like that's what they're building it up. You hear a lot of people talk about that. Could be true, probably is. I don't know. But like you look at the Romanian president Georgescu, yo, Colin Georgescu, homeboy, Orthodox Christian, freaking won the presidential election in Romania. They threw his butt in jail. Like literally, they just came in. Were like, nope, elections canceled, and Germany, you better not elect AFD, or your elections are canceled too. And everybody just sort of just went along with it. Like that's democracy. That's our democracy that we're fighting for. We love our democracy. They threw him in jail, and then when I was talking about how I like that Georgescu guy, everybody's like, well, he's pro-Israel. It's like, okay, well, I'm sorry. It's like he clearly was a threat. They wanted Romania as a key part of this Ukrainian neo-Nazi just Holocaust, this just slaughtering of Orthodox Christians, pillaging of our churches, stealing our churches, creating this demonic facsimile of the Orthodox Church. Bringing in like prostitutes and dancing in these churches and arresting patriarchs and priests, and it's just like a nightmare. And so when I see Georgescu, I'm like, that's good. That's who I want to win. I really don't care about his stance on Israel. It would be great if he was anti-Israel, but it seems like that's just the lines that have been drawn, and it's like you got to pick a side. And I don't like Islam. Like as much as I detest Judaism, like I detest Islam just as much. I think they deserve each other, right? They're made for each other. You guys, you truly deserve each other. Y'all figure it out over there. I wish you weren't occupying the Holy Land. I wish that we could, I mean, like, aren't there parts over there? I don't know. I was never there, but I know some of our friends have visited. I think it was Father Ananias was talking to me about it, and he said he went and visited Israel, that landmass over there, and like the church of the what's it, and I believe that church specifically is like shared by uh, what is it? I know it's shared by Roman Catholics, Orthodox Christians, and then one other group. It might be Protestant, it might be Muslim, for all I know. I have no idea, but they basically share like the building, different parts of it. I heard something about that recently. It would be nice if it was just not a war zone, and historical landmarks weren't at risk of just being destroyed every other day. But that's just the state of the world, and for me, it just seems a little too complicated for me to wrap my head around a solution where a person could become, a actual contender for the American presidency without having to take a stance that wasn't just total isolationist. I just don't think that anybody would support that. And if we've learned anything from this Trump train that we've been on for 10 years, it's that like as much power as the presidency has, like if you don't have the support of Congress and the support of the judiciary, like you're not going to get anything done. And that has been extremely frustrating. Edward says Armenians and Ethiopians at the Church of the Holy Sepulchre as well. Yeah, I saw something like a month ago, and they had mentioned how it was shared Orthodox, but other people. I thought that was cool. I was like, at least the Orthodox got some claim to it. And I guess what they said was that the Orthodox actually had the main like sanctuary, like they had the actual place with the altar and stuff, which is glory to God, man. What's up, KF? Good to see you. Square Peg Rabbit Hole. What up, Internet peeps? Haven't seen you here before. God bless. Welcome. Moldy Apple. Shouts out to you. Shouts out to Mela. Everybody, please remember to pray for KF. Remember to pray for Father George. And who else? Somebody else mentioned Rachel. Don't forget to pray for... Where is Slowboy said something? Don't forget to... Yeah, Rachel. Yeah. Prayer list, guys, and if y'all have any additions you want to put into the live chat prayer list, just pump it in the live chat, and I'll make sure to remind everybody before the show's over. So yeah, you're seeing all of these memes every day about how like Trump is just like Bibi Netanyahu's like plaything. He's just like the puppet of Netanyahu, and I don't think that that's like a realistic way of like looking at it. Like I don't actually think that's the dynamic at play. It is incredibly frustrating, and it's why I think people like us make these memes, is because it makes you so angry when you're seeing just your own country just forgotten. I mean, it's just the injustice of how screwed we're all getting. And then it's like Israel gets everything they want and give them money, and oh man, we got all this illegal immigration here. Make sure we send $6 billion to Israel right now. Like we have to fix the problem of the illegal immigration in Texas and in New York. So let's send BB his summer stipend. It is frustrating, but I don't see I don't see this tiny nation in the desert controlling America, actually controlling it. I think that because we're just so enmeshed with them that it's like we're two peas in a pod. Like our government sucks and is evil, and Israel's government sucks and is evil, and they work together to be shitty and evil. And so I don't think it's like Netanyahu is Trump's boss. I think Trump has sort of pushed Netanyahu around a lot, but he does always give him what he wants, it seems. So I just think that if we got a glimpse behind the curtain and saw the actual relationships and the actual conversations being had, I don't think it would be as simple as the memes make it out. Like Trump is just like on his knees, like begging Netanyahu, to go golfing or something. That's why the Fed is the problem. We can hope that the ethos Trump seems to advocate will somehow garner legit congressmen down the road that have our best interests. I mean, we are seeing that. Like, there's definitely, a lot more than Trump 1.0. I mean, basically, his first term, he was just on defense the whole time. And it didn't seem like that at the time, but now looking back and, like, comparing it to what we have now, it's really shocking. It's like, you can tell he really thought it out, not just with himself, but with his entire crew. And he had good people around him. He had people like us who were sick of, like I said, the injustice and just how bad the situation was in America. And they're like, no, we got to do something about it. Trump's our guy. He's the one that's going to win. So let's rally behind him. And it seems like there was at least some planning as for, hit the ground running as soon as he's inaugurated. All these executive orders. But then, like Soulboy said, a bunch of these executive orders are getting, sued. by these radical activist judges, which is just like, this is how our system works? Like, who thought that was a good idea? Some like small time federal judge, one dude is like making foreign policy decisions and disagreeing with the president on these foreign policy decisions. It's like, oh, you're sending gangbangers over to El Salvador? Bring them back, bring them back. We have to have a hearing. We have to make sure that that dude with the Satan tattooed on his forehead is actually MS-13. It's like, he was here illegally. Like, as far as I'm concerned, you have no rights. Like, go home, you know. And then you got people. Actually, before I want to stay on this topic, the judges thing. Apparently, the only way that it's not just a judge like saying I don't like Trump, so I'm gonna write a paper or something and stop him from doing it. They have to bring a case to the judge and sue the government, basically. And so that seems to be what the Democrats are doing, what the Americans are doing, is they're judge shopping, and they're finding these compromised federal judges, and they're launching lawsuits. And so a lot of people are hoping that it will get to the Supreme Court, and that the Supreme Court will uphold the executive's authority over foreign policy decisions. And you know, but it's again worrying, and it's making me sweat a little bit, because Trump really isn't. He's not as airtight as I would have assumed that some of the things he was doing. I would have assumed that, having had 4 years to plan this out, knowing that you'd have to do mass deportations, like that you would have an airtight thing, like, you know what I mean? But then he uses this what is it, Wartime Alien and Sedition Act of 1798 or something, and a lot of people are saying, well, dude, we're not at war with Venezuela. And he's saying, well, these are Venezuelan organized criminal gangs that they're sending over in mass, invading our country. And so that is kind of like an act of war. But I can totally see our freaking Supreme Court, which are a bunch of milquetoast, lame butts. I could totally see them being like, no, we're not at war. Sorry, that's unconstitutional. You can't do that. And that would be really disappointing, because I literally voted for Trump for one reason, and that was the deportations. That's all I expect. That's all I want to see. He literally ran on mass deportations. They hit the ground running okay. It was like, oh, we got 5,000, 10,000. That was great. But they shipped in 20 million or more over the last 4 years. Like, we would have to really, really, like, bump those numbers up if we were to get them all out. And I don't think any of us were under the delusion that they were going to get them all out. But when you run on mass deportation, largest mass deportation in history, you would assume that it would be pretty big. You guys remember I was talking about all of the Venezuelan gangbangers we had here in Buffalo, and they were just posted up outside of the gas station and just took over our town. They were just everywhere. And then as soon as Trump was inaugurated, they're gone. They just disappeared. And they all went into hiding. And so they're still here, and they're getting money from somewhere. And isn't it funny that the giant bus outside the hotel that they were housing them, you guys want to guess what was on the bus? What foundation was on the bus? Anybody? Anybody in the live chat want to take a guess at what group of people were funding were helping these illegals get food and supplies? Anybody want to guess what group of people were responsible for that before I give it away? It was shortly before the inauguration, like maybe 2 days before, I saw this massive, massive bus. USAID, good guess. That's a good guess, but no. Although we all know USAID definitely was giving money to it. That's probably where this organization got their funding. It was Jewish Family Services. Disney. Well, the episodes, yeah, they had Mickey Mouse giving corn gruel to the migrants. No, it was Jewish Family Services. Had a massive double-decker, like one of those like rock band buses that they tour in, just massive. Jewish Family Services parked right outside the hotel. You just knew. Like, oh, okay, so what they're doing is they're gathering up these guys, and they're going to go take them somewhere else to hide them, since everybody around here knows that hotel, I mean, they weren't hiding it. They got, like I said, they were posted up outside the gas station. Like, all of us in the local area knew that they were there. I've gotten Uber rides before where the driver's talking to me like, "Hey, you know that hotel is," like everybody knew it. So they said that they moved them. It was on the news that they had moved them somewhere else. But I'm honestly suspicious. I don't think they're all gone from that hotel. I think that they're still in there. Um, but they're definitely still in Buffalo. We've seen since Trump started his deportation efforts. He posts on like the White House Instagram page and on the White House Twitter page, like when they get these sex offenders or big notorious criminals, they post it, and it's like a trophy. Like, look, we deported this guy, we deported this guy. We've had two from Buffalo so far, out of the at least 1,500 that are in my town. We had two. One guy was a rapist, one guy was a drug trafficker, I believe, or a kidnapper or something. Venezuela sent a bunch of their criminals here, but so did Russia before the 1960s. I think it was funny how they got that guy in El Salvador. What's his name? Oh crap! I'm brain farting here. Bukele. Uh, you know, everybody in the alt media sphere was singing Bukele's praises before the presidential debates. They were talking about, like, Max Kaiser was on Infowars talking about how El Salvador is like the best place to live now. It went from the murder capital of the world to like the greatest place on earth because Bukele rounded up all the criminals and they built the world's largest prison. And there's all these videos of the prison. And then Trump goes on the debate stage with Kamala and he just like ripped apart Bukele. He was like, "This guy's sending all of his criminals here." So I thought that was kind of ironic how he was getting all this praise for like cleaning up El Salvador, and it turned out he just like sent a bunch of them here. But like Trump has said a million times, like you can't even blame these political leaders because like it's our fault. It's our fault for having such incompetent and evil leaders of this country who were hell bent on flooding this country and just destroying it. So frustrating. And so it's kind of like poetic justice that now Bukele is taking our criminals back to his country and housing them for a small fee. Uh, I'd be curious what that fee is because he's been saying it's small. It's big to us, but small to America. Yeah, how small? How much are we paying you to house people who aren't even ours to begin with? Honestly, like with as much power and influence as America has, like I feel like we should definitely be able to just say, a funnel in which you allowed the entire world to pour into our country. So now you're going to be the housing place where we just dump them all and you figure it out. Could have sent them into the ocean. That's not very Christian. I think we dump them in Mexico and just, you handle it. And as far as Mexico goes, how crazy is all of this cartel business, dude? They got this like chick president now. Apparently they killed 30 something candidates for president in Mexico before they landed on this socialist chick. Let me look up her picture. President of Mexico. It's just such a perfect sign of the time that even Mexico's got this chick president. This like probably a feminist, probably a liberal, definitely a socialist. Claudia Scheinbaum, this chick, she was spatting with Trump for a while too. But apparently they killed like a bunch of the presidential candidates before they allowed her to become president. So basically, Mexico, what everybody already knows, is this just narco state. And so a lot of people have been debating on, should America, invade Mexico, and everybody's freaking out. And honestly, I guess I have the less popular take, but like I'm not opposed to America just invading Mexico and just wiping it out. I mean, they can't run their own country. Now, we can't run our own country either, but if we know anything about America, it's that war makes us a lot of money, and I don't think Mexico is going to stand a chance to us. So that seems like the shoe in. Like the easy one, like we're over in the Middle East fighting all these different countries. We're fighting Russia. It's like, why not fight Mexico? They're right there. Dried Stay Weird says, we need Canada. We need to fight Canada. We need to invade Canada. We need to declare war on Canada Then we can take the entire continent for ourselves. I'm actually not in favor of annexing Canada, making it a state. You know, if they made it a territory or something, that'd be one thing. Like, don't give them seats in the Congress. I don't want I don't want to never win another election ever again. And I feel like if they added a bunch of states that were Canadians, we would just never get a good executive branch ever again. But as for Mexico, I mean, like it's just I mean, it's chaos, you know. At least on the border towns, it's just utter chaos, and they've, you know, they're our direct neighbor. Like this entire invasion that we lived through is entirely because Mexico is run very badly. You know, it's like if we had our own southern border like locked down, obviously it wouldn't have been as bad, but like it's literally just our drug partner. We're just drug dealing partners with them. So that's you know, again, I'm well aware of the culpability of our own government and all of that. It's not like it's on Mexico. So like I said, I'm a slow boy. But when I think about, you know, people talking about, oh, we'll just knock off the government of Mexico, it's like that one I'm not entirely opposed to. You know, even though obviously I would prefer total isolationism, that one it doesn't stick in my craw too bad. But yeah, no. So we got, you know, two deportations so far in Buffalo, far less than I was expecting. At least there has been this chilling factor where they're wherever they are, they're not, you know, they're not on the streets. It feels like America again here in Buffalo. It's not little Pakistan anymore. It's not little India. It's not little Venezuela. But it's just that frustrating thing where you just know that like the taxes that I pay are literally still feeding them. Like it doesn't matter how much of it gets exposed. It doesn't matter, you know, all of the evidence that Elon Musk or who, you know, Doge or Trump or any of the administration can point out. It just it's like nobody cares. It's like, yeah, they steal our money, but you know, that's Congress's job. And Congress just we can't do anything about it. We're going to make this big fuss and then we're just going to pass another continuing resolution and just give all the money again, you know. It boggles the mind. I understand that it's this big system and it has to function or everything collapses and a bunch of people die and starve and so it's not just as easy as like, oh, just, you know, cut the money, don't allow any of it to pass, but like is it really that complicated to not give our money to people that are actively waging war against us? Like I'm not a political expert. I'm not. I've never worked in government. I don't know anybody that works in government, but I just don't see how it could be that hard for Congress to figure out. Like, okay, U.S. aid. You know, clearly these people are not are not doing good things for America. You know, like I watched all the Mike Benz interviews where he discussed soft power, and we've heard Jay talk about soft power a million times, and about how you know it has given us the luxury of the American standard of living. You know that I was not alive for. You know, I caught the tail end of it before everything went to crap. So I guess it was good for us at some point, but it led us to this situation now. So the way I look at it is just like get rid of it, get rid of USAID, get rid of this entire, you know, cloak and dagger network of black budget, you know, James Bond wannabe douchebags that are transing and gaying the world. Doesn't seem to be helping us right now. I don't understand why that's not something we can't all rally behind. And like everybody in Congress is like, yeah, we can agree with this. Instead, we've got, you know, Tesla's getting set on fire. We got Owen Schroyer getting raided. InfoWars hosts getting murdered. Swatting's going crazy right now. And Kash Patel, who was supposed to be our guy, literally is making a tweet about it. Pam Bondi handing out binders. Kash Patel making a tweet. I mean, I'm not ready to admit defeat just yet, but it's a little disheartening. It's a little hard to get excited about this when it seems like nobody's being held accountable and everything's just going to get swept under the rug again. Mela says two people? Two? Yeah, two. Two that they've announced. I mean, there could be more, but they seem to be announcing every single person that they frickin' deport. Not every person, but like all the big ones. And I seen the two that were listed for Buffalo. I saw one in Rochester. You hear these numbers, oh, 2,500 and blah, 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 but I haven't heard any numbers like that in New York. And our governor sucks, and she is not helping ICE at all. And is, this is a sanctuary state apparently. So, um, yeah, it's going to be difficult for them to do it. They're talking a big game. They're saying, "Well, we're just going to go in." Like if these sanctuary cities and sanctuary states don't want to help us, like the federal government's just going to go into the state and remove these people, which, again, I could grandstand and that's not the American way, but like this is such a crisis and such a dangerous situation for us that it's like something has to be done. And these governors like in New York, I mean, how is this not a traitor? How is this not just a direct enemy of America? Like I'm glad I'm not the president because I would probably be impeached on day one because it would just be full war mode, and that's what I wanted to see from Trump. I knew I wasn't going to get it. That's why I told you guys I went in with low expectations. But really, like, if in my deepest heart of hearts, what I wanted to see was Trump realizing we are in a civil war. The civil war has already started. It's a administrative civil war. It's a really administrative civil war. There's not necessarily ground level, but you've got two factions at least who are at direct war, and so you gotta really go like military operation, camouflage face paint, special operations, like, you know, what do they call it? Shock and awe. Like, you got to do that. That's what I expected him to do with the Epstein documents. Drop the Epstein, list, and if it doesn't exist, which, the more I thought about it, the more it was like, well, yeah, obviously, like there was never a client list. Like, all that video footage that we saw back when Epstein's island and his Manhattan apartment got raided, and you saw all the FBI and the NYPD there, like, that they just took all the hard drives and they put it in a freaking plastic tote and handed it off to John Brennan, and then, like, all the paperwork and all the nonsense that didn't mean anything, like, that's the stuff they filed away as evidence. And, like, we're going to keep this from them for years, and then when they finally get it, it's going to be nothing, and that's that. There's no way that they logged Bill Gates sleeping with a potbelly pig or something, like, and put that into actual evidence lockers. Like, there's no way that any of the hard drives or video footage or any of that stuff was ever officially held by the government. Like, I think it's a little crazy to assume that they would be that dumb. Same thing with the JFK stuff. There's no way that there's some document that's just like LBJ killed Kennedy. It's just, yeah, I did it. let me submit it for the record. Um, and how about those JFK documents, man? The 50,000 documents so far out of 80,000. A bunch of people are putting it into Grok AI, trying to get readouts of it. And what I got from the all the different things I'm seeing, all the different documents I'm seeing, is like, it sort of reminded me of all of those FBI files. If you guys ever go on Vault, the FBI Vault or whatever, and read some of like the crazy documents they have of like talking with aliens and stuff. Like, there is stuff on the official FBI website where there are documents where they are saying that they are having like interrogations of extraterrestrials. Like, just total sci-fi nonsense. But that's official FBI document. So there's a lot of like grifters and stuff that were big like 5-10 years ago. There was the real X-Men, whatever that guy's name was. He was always running around talking about that and talking about these documents, and it just seems like nonsense they put out as disinfo, counterintelligence, just, muddy the waters, fake and gay psyops. And so when I see, these JFK documents, and like one's talking about Italian intelligence, and one's talking about Israeli intelligence, and one's talking about British intelligence, yeah, in all likelihood, I'm sure there were a lot of working together of these various networks. I think there's probably a lot in there that's just nonsense meant to confuse and misdirect. So I don't hold out much hope for any sort of big bombshells. I just think it's incredibly embarrassing for Trump that now he has signed an executive order to release the Epstein documents, all of the Epstein documents. They didn't get released. All of the JFK documents without redactions, and then the DOJ, who was completely heading this one, so they can't even blame it on the FBI, the DOJ doesn't give all of the documents, and they also redact a bunch of stuff in the documents. So it's just like, you should be embarrassed, dude. Like this is your crew. These are your guys, and they can't even follow your orders. These are the people who are supposed to be like your side of the military operation, attacking the anti-American globalist scum. No, no, no. You can't even pick people who are competent at the job. And the first sign of that was Marco Rubio, for sure. And until I see otherwise, like that guy, for sure is. I don't know. That made me nervous as heck when I saw he picked Marco Rubio. And he's even made like statements about it. Like I watch all the press conferences he gives and all the speeches he gives, and he's made multiple times he'll be there with Rubio and he'll be like, every single Democrat voted to confirm Rubio, and I'm either really scared or really impressed, and I'll figure out which one. It's like, yeah, dude, like what does that tell you? What does that tell you? That these people who hate your guts and literally want you dead, like they had no problem confirming Rubio. It's not even about voting. It's about the interlocking and overlapping circles of bureaucracy that allows the system to self-fund and continue. Absolutely. And that's what the whole Doge thing was supposed to be addressing. And honestly, like, as much crap as I've given Elon, like, Owen's been saying this a lot lately, is that he's the most effective one out of everybody so far. In the entire Trump cabinet, like, Elon's the one that's actually producing results. He's, at the very least, getting stuff done. He's revealing things to the public and, raising awareness of where our tax dollars are going. It seems like he's the only one getting stuff done. I mean, you got Kash Patel, Mr. First Day, Epstein docs released, first day, close down FBI headquarters, and now it's been, weeks and nothing. Don't hear anything from him but some milquetoast tweet. Like, come on, bro. I can't wait for the podcast he does, 5 years down the road, and how he's going to justify what happened. Because what it seems like to me, just based on my assumptions on what I would assume is happening, is he got in there, and now all of a sudden he's intimidated. He's like, whoa, there's all this stuff. And it seems like it would be so easy for people who want to control and sort of corral people in that position to just, like, bring them a bunch of, like, really important stuff that's got nothing to do with corruption at all. Like, oh man, we got these, like, terrorists and we got these drug traffickers and, like, get, like, a limited hangout sort of deal. Like, just keep them busy. Keep them busy with stuff. Like, that's what I would guess is what's going on with Kash Patel. Is they got their guys in the FBI, like, yo, like, we'll pretend like we're patriots, we'll pretend like we're Trumpers, and we'll just keep them busy with stuff that's going to keep them far away from the corruption. And if that is the case, then that's totally on him, because you should have full, like, awareness of your mission. Like, this is the institution that we are fighting. Like, this is literally the military arm of the enemy within, one of the military arms. And so I don't have any patience for the Trump cabinet or the Trump administration. I don't have any grace to extend them. It's like, I literally just want to see you carry through on what you said you were going to do. Like, at the very least, give us more deportations. And if you can't do that, then at least level with the American people. Like, come out and give a narrative, press conferences, explain to your voters, because now it's just chaos. Like, you've got all of these people who voted for Trump and support Trump who are left to speculate and guess and figure out what's actually going on. And, as much as I would like to say, oh yeah, just tell us everything, like, I'm sure there is more to the story that, if I was on the inside, I'm sure they'd be like, well, obviously we can't do that because X, Y, or Z. But from the outside looking in, it's just like, it's not looking good, dude. It's not looking good. But I still hold out hope. I haven't. I'm not totally black pilled. I'm not totally given up on the idea that we'll see some good reforms. But I just, it's just such a shit show, dude. It's always such a shit show, and politics is just, it's so infuriating, especially in this age with how bad the situation is. It's like, man, you'd think there'd be some what's that called? Self-protection instinct. Like, hey, the country's burning. Like, maybe we got to band together. Maybe the one half of the government, which literally is promoting terrorism, on the domestic soil, while throwing us in jail for holding an American flag or for frickin' walking in a building. Like, you get 4 years in jail, no trial. You're in a 12 months straight. But the people that literally are burning down Teslas, trying to intimidate people out of buying, Elon Musk's business, buying his cars and stuff. It's like, that's very obvious, clear, and direct domestic terrorism. And yet, the only domestic terrorists are us. We're the only ones. Like, the other side had no problem calling us domestic terrorists, no problem throwing us in jail, no problem just trampling all over the Constitution and doing whatever the hell they wanted. And where were our judges? Where were our judges coming in and saying, no, Mr. Biden, you can't do that? Where were our senators? Where were our people to gum up the works? It's like we just sit there and let them do whatever they want. And then as soon as we have somebody in the position to do something, all of a sudden, oh, there's all these tools that you can use to stop it. It's just like, it's such a game, dude. Such a freaking rigged game. It's frustrating. Imagine that, guys. It's a rigged game. I know. I'm dropping some hot takes today. Always candles burning in my house. What's up, Jethro? Badass whiteboard. Oil lamps. Yo, I got an oil lamp here my godfather gave me. I actually got two. I got one that's really cool. Reader Paul Trinka, bottom of the rabbit hole. Check that out, dude. Frickin' train, old school railroad oil lamp. Gotta keep your lamps burning, dude. Bridegroom comes at midnight. Unfortunately, I don't have oil in these lamps. And then this one as well. Pretty sick, dude. Pretty sick. Yeah, guys, go subscribe to Bottom of the Rabbit Hole. That's my godfather's channel. I mean, I'm sure all of you guys already know. He is top tier. Killing it, dude. Killing it. Everybody loves him. A man of the people. But yeah, he's I don't want to say it's Jay level stuff, because Jay has, got all the experience, and Paul isn't as experienced as Jay. But what I mean by Jay level stuff is that Paul has got such a sharp brain, and he is able to express these theological and orthodox, dogmatic issues and issues with, ortho versus Roman Catholicism and all this stuff. He's able to express it in ways that are just so easy to understand and digest. That, yeah, Jethro, JD level. I mean, do you guys agree? Like, Bottom of the Rabbit Hole, I'm sure y'all know what I'm talking about. That guy just kills it every video. I'm like shocked. I'm shocked at the competence of the man. He's one of the better YouTube channels that have come out lately, and I'm really happy to see him out there producing content, because we do need more people like that. Less slow boys like me, more people like that. They are probably burning Teslas that have their batteries half depleted. I mean, have you seen the the tweet? There was a firefighter made a tweet, and he was like, guys, I get it if you don't like Musk, but could you not set these cars on fire, because like the chemicals they emit are extremely toxic to people, and then the firefighters come in, and if they don't realize that it's an electric car, like they could get seriously, sick, and then also that the batteries burn so hot that it like melts the road underneath the car, and it like, once it takes like an insane amount of water to put it out, and then once they put it out, they have to take it and put it into a lot somewhere, and then they have to pay firefighters to just sit there and watch it for hours, because it could just start up again. It's like one of the worst environmental things you could do. And it's like, aren't you guys the climate change dudes? Aren't you guys the ones that, but obviously we all know that they don't believe in anything and that it's just obviously posturing. But it was funny to see their hypocrisy pointed out by like a firefighter who's like, I don't even care. Hate Elon, that's cool. I don't got a dog in this fight, but like I don't want to have to keep coming to these electric vehicle fires. And then you got Elon, he's on Fox News yesterday or today, and he just seems like a kicked puppy. He's just like a kicked autistic puppy. He doesn't even understand. He's just like, I didn't do anything wrong. He's like, I'm exposing fraud and abuse. I don't know why they're mad at me. Yeah, he definitely had that kicked puppy energy when I saw that interview. I think he was Hannity or one of these guys. This is what I mean by it's like a civil war. Like it literally is, and I wish that the people who were supposed to be representing us understood it as much as like some random idiot like I could figure out that like these people are playing for keeps. They tried shooting your head off. They literally threw us in jail. They literally are they don't care about the rule of law. They don't care about following the rules. They are just out for themselves and they are destroying our country. They've literally just dealt a death blow. That immigration that they did over those 4 years, it might as well be a death blow. I don't see how we recover from that. I see them deporting a million maybe by the end of the 4 years, like if we're lucky, out of 20 million. And then we're still, we're still going to get the average million a year of legal immigrants. And then they're probably going to bump that up because we got to replace the Silicon Valley, whatever jobs. We need more Indians to code or whatever the hell the thing is. It's like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Today's politics is not made for me. Okay, they're not my people because it's very frustrating for somebody like me to be following along and actually having some glimmer of hope that like I would see something I like happen because I just this world is fallen and I know that it's just a mess. But damn that Trump, man, he can get me. He can get me to believe, dude. He really can. So. Jury's still out. I guess we'll see. But all I know is that, like I said before, I'm not extending grace. I am not making excuses, and I am not gonna be constructing narratives to try to understand why Trump did this thing instead of that thing. I did that the first 4 years, and never again. Okay, and we're not playing these games. If you screw up or if you do something stupid, like I'm not gonna believe that it's for some grander thing. I'm just gonna think that you were dumb. Jerry, have you seen Carlo Rossi wine jugs? I mean, I've seen wine jugs, but never seen Carlo Rossi. Let me look that up. Um, what that made me think of, though, you saying that was one thing that Trump said about the JFK files. Oh, yeah, I know these things. What about them? One thing that Trump said recently about the JFK files when he was talking to some lady doing an interview is he said that he didn't even know what was in them. Did you guys hear that? Trump's like, honestly, I don't even know what's in them. Meanwhile, years ago, he told Napolitano, if you seen what I seen, you wouldn't want to release them either. So everybody's going, well, which one is it, dude? Now he's saying he doesn't even know what's in the frickin' documents, but I don't think that that's actually very confusing at all. I mean, 80,000 pages of documents, like, there's no way. Okay, obviously he's not going to know what's in them all. I think he's probably seen the important ones. But it also wouldn't surprise me if they just kept it from him. He certainly seems to be aloof on a lot of important things. There's oftentimes things come up and it's like, how does he not know about this? I think he's of course being insulated just like he was the first time, and there's people around him that probably put a lot of effort into making sure only approved information makes its way. Trump never lies. Never. I never said he lied. I mean, I'm not saying he lied. I'm just saying that dude just talks, bro. He just talks, and he doesn't even, half the time, he don't even know what he's saying. He's like, I don't even know what's in them. And then the lady doesn't even call him on it. Like, it's a well-known thing that you told Judge Napolitano that, you know, you didn't release them because, you know, you wouldn't release it if you seen it too. And then she even asked him, because she goes, well, you know, you said you were going to release them the first term, then you didn't. You said powerful CIA people came to you and convinced you not to. She goes, what were the reasons? And he goes, they gave me reasons. They gave me reasons. And, you know, perhaps I should have. So, you know, he doesn't want to say what the reasons are because he's probably embarrassed. It's like, dude, you had frickin' Mike Pompeo straight up play you like a fool, dude, like a clown. Don't do it. We're gonna. Don't do it, Don. We still got agents over there in Cuba. They're 97 years old, Don. Don't do it. You're gonna give away their OPSEC. I just hope he stops bringing up Biden and Kamala. They are irrelevant. Absolutely, dude. Every time I hear them mentioned, it's like, bro, you won. Like, move on. Please, for the love of God, move on. But have you seen the Tim Walz clips that were going around today, where he was on Gavin Newsom's podcast and he was talking about how he could beat up Trump supporters? That was pretty funny. That dude has just got that straight pedophile physiognomy going on. Just a straight creeper, dude. And like, I mean, both of them do. So they're made for each other too, Gavin Newsom and Tim Walz. But I really hope Gavin Newsom doesn't run in 2028 because he probably, you know, I would like to say he's got no chance. He's got no chance, but he probably would. I mean, there are so many stupid people in this country. There are so many just brain dead people who all have votes. Like, God help us. Like, I'm sorry. I know I'm being a little black pill here, but we all know it's true, dude. Like, you see these freaking senators and congressmen and congresswomen. You know, AOC looks like a brain surgeon compared to like that Jasmine Crockett lady. Like, holy crap, dude. It's like I'm down at the weave store, you know? Like I'm down at the freaking rent-a-center in the hood, but this is our senator. Like, oh my gosh. Not American, so take it or leave it. But Trump is clearly, to me, a Shabbat Shabbos Goy. Well, you know, that's a good point. I mean, look, the thing is like I said before the election even happened, you know what you're getting with Trump. He's gonna be good on Israel. He sides with Israel. He likes Israel. He's I almost said gay. He's pro-Jew. He's pro-Israeli. His dad built synagogues, apparently. You know, he's a New York guy, so he's probably spent his he definitely has spent his entire life around Jews. He's super pro-Jewish. I wish I could personally go and sit down with him and introduce him to Orthodox Christianity and introduce him to, you know, sort of how I see Israel and how I frame it. But you just know that that's the world he lives in. That's the world he's always lived in. Those are his friends in his mind. And probably pretty naive, probably pretty stupid. Hopefully he's not naive. Hopefully it is like a strategic thing where he's just like, look, this is just pragmatic. That is a necessary ally. And so we got to keep them on good terms with us because it's really important for American dominance to have, you know, that ally in that region with that power, you know, and they're all tied in with our Congress. So even trying to untangle ourselves from Israel would be like, you know, a suicide mission for any politician. So it's just like, what are you going to do? Like, you know, it's super easy to critique, you know, politicians for being pro-Israel, but it's super difficult for you to actually run, win, and actually not be like that. You know, all of the best politicians and populist politicians that I've seen in this day and age are all pro-Israel. They're all pro-Israel. You know, it's like it sucks, but it's just the state of the political sphere right now. It's like I don't know what the answer is, but I also don't think it's like really a accurate to just like write it all off as like it's just Israel controls everything. It's just, you know, Bibi Netanyahu is king of the world and that's it, man. Netanyahu just gives the orders and Trump follows. I just don't see that happening. Yeah, Tucker was talking about liberty. Ian Carroll's been talking about USS Liberty. Joe Rogan's talking about Israel. I mean, everybody's talking about Israel now. And I even said before Trump won, I said I suspect that Trump will be less inclined to give Israel everything they want this time because he was even throwing some shade on Israel before the election. You know, so I hope that I'm proven right It don't look like I'm gonna be, but I hope so. Why won't he release Epstein files, I wonder? I don't think they exist. To be totally honest, I don't think they exist. I don't think that there's a piece of paper anywhere that says Bill Gates slept with this child on this day. All of the video footage is definitely, in the hands of the intelligence agencies that were running that operation and not in the hands of any bureaucracy or any government agency. There's just no way. There's no way that they have a video of all these rich dudes doing the diddle, you know. So I think, I explained this earlier, but I think that when they raided Epstein's stuff, they took all of that material and they stuck it in the trunk of their car and they never wrote up any evidence reports for it. And then they filed every little piece of scrap paper and post-it note in meticulous detail. And so that's probably what the truckload of documents that they gave to Pam Bondi were. Just a bunch of post-it notes and receipts from Costco and just random garbage. And yeah, maybe there's going to be some tidbits in that stuff, but like it's not hard drives. It's not video evidence. So I'm sounding woke right. Yeah, dude, I gotta research woke right. What is woke right again? I remember hearing that for a while, and then I heard it explained to me, and now I forget what it is. Woke right is like yeah, I don't even remember, dude. I am definitely woke as hell, though. I'm woke as hell, dude. I'm so much woker than you. Point is, I think the critique I have is not that he didn't release the Epstein files. It's just the ham-fisted way that they went about it. They really just handled it like buffoons, and it's also the lack of transparency. The whole thing about the Trump campaign, at least, RFK Jr. had mentioned this, radical transparency. Radical transparency. If you're doing the right thing, you got nothing to hide. That seems to be Elon's modus operandi. He seems to be all about wanting to just put everything out there, just, be totally transparent. That's like the kryptonite to the people that we're up against. It's like everything they do is in the darkness. Everything they do only works if people are ignorant of it. So if you're going to defeat these people, like, put everything out in the spotlight. Hey, guys, we wanted to give you the Epstein files. I made an executive order to give them to you. Turns out we were stupid. They didn't actually keep those things. They destroyed them, meaning that they're in somebody's basement somewhere, and they're probably making a lot of money extorting these celebrities and politicians, and we're never going to know. But what's important is to understand that Epstein worked, to gather blackmail on important figures so that they could be controlled in politics, in culture, in Hollywood, in all of these things. And so we as Americans need a cultural shift. These people are not your idols. These people are not your role models. These people are disgusting pedophiles, filth, people who are willing to, willingly submit to blackmail so they can be a part of some club because it means that they get good perks and a higher social standing. These people are disgusting. This is the ingrained structure that we're fighting against. And so I'm sorry we don't have the documents for you, but there you go, American people. State of the Union address. If I were Trump, that would be the first thing I literally did. I would be the first thing. Just full transparency. Hey guys, this is what it is. Instead they didn't, and so they got nobody to blame but themselves. And so it's like, as somebody that's been supporting Trump this whole time, like I'm not gonna make a freaking excuse for it, dude. I'm not gonna like make some narrative where I try to figure out in my head, oh no, Cash is. It's actually they're trying to get somebody to rat and snitch, and so they're teasing it, but they're not really. But they're gonna release it. So it's like, no, they're not gonna release it. They don't got nothing, and they should be transparent, but they're not. And so screw y'all. Like, I don't know what you think that keeping more of these secrets from the people are, or if you really just think that people are that stupid. And honestly, I think that's probably what it is. I think that Trump is a boomer, and I think I would imagine if you get into that position of power and you have that immense weight of the responsibility of millions of lives in the biggest and most powerful and most important country in the world on your shoulders, Not only that, but you're also being attacked from every angle by the most evil, vile people in the world. You're probably very nervous to like do the wrong thing because you know, like, okay, like I don't want to create total chaos. I don't want, to destroy the social fabric of our society. Like, so it's probably a little nerve wracking. And I would imagine that if any of us were in that situation, we probably too would err on the side of just keeping your mouth shut because, as the saints tell us, like you don't often regret the things you don't say. You typically regret the things you do say, and you stick your foot in your mouth. Whereas if you just stay silent, usually you're fine. You're not crying over it. But in this situation where we're talking about sex trafficking, child sex trafficking, human trafficking, it's just so dark. It's so evil. Like, get it out in the light, dude. You guys went out on all the podcast circuit, sunlight's the best disinfectant, all of this stuff, and then you just continue to treat us like mushrooms, keep us in the dark, and feed us shit. It's just, there's no excuse for it, dude. I understand, and that's why I do try to be fair in my assessment and analysis of Trump because I think that it's really easy for us to get sort of rabbit holed on specific issues and miss like the reality of what that would be like to be the president and like, oh my god, like not only do you have all of that responsibility, but you're also aware of like all of the terrible stuff going on and like you have to directly interact with it. Like you got to watch all the videos of the soldiers getting blown up and all the horrible stuff going on, all the secret missions going, all this stuff, it's probably a nightmare. You're spinning a million plates at once. But to my slow boy, little armchair quarterback self, dude, what is more important than this? What is more important than the fact that your political opponents are literally like involved in this mafioso esque conspiracy? Like that is the death. That's the death shot for them. Even if you can't, even if you don't have the tapes, even if you don't have the proof, you should still just tell them what you know. Tell the people what you know. We haven't seen one indictment. We haven't seen one charge, one arrest. Nothing. Pam Bondi literally goes out there and goes, "I demand all the documents. Give me the documents per the order of the president." And then they literally go, "Here you go. Here's all the documents." And she goes, "Are these all the documents?" And they go, "Yep, these are all of them." They lied to her face. And what did she do? "You're fired. Go home, pack your stuff. You only get 9 months severance." I don't know if they gave him severance, but she's like, "They've been fired." It's like, what? So they got off scot-free. I don't think that they were planning on working in the Trump FBI. I'm pretty sure they just did the job that they were there to do, and they would have left anyways. So like, wow, good. That'll teach them. That'll teach them for committing treason. In my mind, that seems like an obvious like you're literally fighting on the enemy side of the country that you're supposed to be serving. So you fired him. Good job, Pan. This is why I'm so glad we have a strong, independent woman running the Department of Justice. All right. Anyways, I'm skipping over all y'all's chats. Sorry. Yes. Yeah. I'm getting a little heated here. Thing is, I don't care about Israel. I just want to win. I don't care if Trump is the biggest Israel lover ever. I want to win, and the only way the right can win is through MAGA, like it or not. And that was my position as well. Very pragmatic. JA is king pilled for show. You guys talk about the channel king pilled. They're all over the Christ is King phrase now. Yeah, I saw that was getting big. People were arguing about it. Apparently, Jordan Peterson came out and was like taking shots at Candace Owens. That's pretty lame. Like of all people, to come at somebody for using Christianity to bolster her public image, Mister wearing icons on your jacket, Mister goes around doing lecture series on Genesis, and you're not even a Orthodox Christian. Like, bro, like you of all people coming out and critiquing Candace for saying Christ is King. Like, I mean, I'm not like some huge Candace Owens fan, but like she seems pretty all right to me. I don't have any issues with her. I mean, I haven't really reviewed all of her content, but from what I've seen, I was just checking out that was it Building Bridget, Becoming Bridget, where they're talking about the Macron's husband. She thinks Macron's wife is a man, and she's got like this like 6-part YouTube series all about it, and like Macron and the French government have been suing her and trying to get it censored and stuff. It's pretty awesome. I don't know if I if I think that it is a man. I don't actually think that. Like I look at the pictures and I'm like, I don't know. I don't see that being a tranny, but it could be. I mean, it wouldn't shock me, but just going off of the first two episodes and looking at the pictures, I'm not sold yet. I'm not sold, but I do got to finish the series. Maybe I'll be sold by the end of it. Um, JA, that's retarded. What's retarded? Oh, the wanting to win. Well, yeah. I mean, we've sort of gone. We've ran these all, in previous videos where we talk about, the pragmatic thing of wanting to support him to see good things done, but then also the issue about winning and, you're not going to win. That's sort of the thing I talk about AJ all the time. InfoWars is like he's so hell bent on winning this fight that he's setting himself up for failure. He's setting himself up for disappointment. Like, dude, you're never winning that fight. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm really grateful he's out there fighting the fight and he's, building this, like, he's built this amazing news network that rivals, all of the major news networks, and they actually have independent voices and they raise up crops of independent journalists. I mean, Alex has done so many great things. But on a personal level, I feel for him because he's so committed to like wanting to win and wanting to be victorious and plant the flag and like sail off into the sunset, and you just know it's never going to happen. Like it's just the nature of fallen humanity. Like it's just the world is fallen. It's not going to get fixed. Like I'm glad he's fighting his best fight, but I just wish that he had that peace to know like, okay, I'm not going to win this. I'm going to do the right thing and fight. And it seems like lately he's been sort of saying things akin to that. So I hope I hope that God guides him to a peace that he can make. But I've definitely made that critique in the past where I thought, dude, this guy is so committed to the plot that it's like I worry. I worry about how he's going to handle it when he's 90 and it's like the world's still run by evil people. Patriots are in control. Absolutely. Q-Tard Prattle. Yep. Yep. They are building a replica White House in Jerusalem, and Trump will govern the USA by phone. I'm also tired of seeing Muslim and whatnot online going, you're cucks to Jews because the USA has a partnership with Israel. Yeah, I mean, again, I'm not pro the USA-Israeli partnership. I'm not trying to say, like, or make excuses for it. I'm just honestly trying to be realistic and trying to put myself in the shoes of a leader of America and trying to figure out, like, what would you actually do? Like, is there an actual way to not, like, side with Israel? Like, what are you going to do? You know? I don't see it. Like, no, we're just full George Washington. We're not getting involved. It's like I just don't see you having any support for that at all. Before I finish up looking in the chat, let me check my notes and see if there was anything else. We talked about the Elon terrorisms. We talked about the swatting. Did you guys hear that Owen Schroyer got swatted yesterday? There's literally a video of the cops holding their rifles to him while he's got to strip down to his freaking shorts, take off his shirt and freaking hold his hands up in the air. It's just crazy that these the swattings are just ramping up and up and up. And it's just giving me flashbacks to the first Trump term with all the riots that happened and all the craziness that went down. So I think it's safe to say that things are going to be interesting this summer. Things are going to be interesting. There's definitely going to be organized violence, organized protests. It's going to probably get pretty bad. And so I am just praying for this country. I'm praying for our leaders. And I'm just praying that we'll have law and order. It seems like not that much to ask. Like, these people are organized. They're committing acts of terrorism. I thought we had the Patriot Act for that. I thought we gave up all of our civil liberties to be protected from the terrorisms. So don't know why we can't stop this. Astronauts stuck in space got returned. That would frickin' suck, dude. Like 9 months in a frickin' little tin can up in orbit. Like I don't even. It's kind of terrifying to even think about. I don't like that. I don't like thinking about that. Pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. Too small to be a man. Too small of a frame. Sorry, I'm just reading the chat. It's a man. Jerry, you didn't watch the whole series. I didn't, and that's why I'm saying. I'm not saying it's. I'm just saying my first instinct, looking at the, and I stared at the picture. Okay, I didn't just glance at it. I stared at it. I'm like, is this a man? You know what I mean? Trying to use my psycho ESPN powers of astral ability, trying to psycho hone in my powers to discern the gender, and I was like, I don't know. I'm getting female from this thing. We're glad Papa's still wandering around. We sure is, dude. We sure is. Too small of a skull? Yeah, I am gonna finish that. I am gonna finish that. Swattings. Oh yeah, and then so not only did they swat Owen Schroyer, and then they swatted another Infowars host, Chase Geyser. They swatted a bunch of the crew apparently, but they also then started sending pizzas from like Papa John's to Owen Schroyer's house, and on the receipt it said like from I forget who they said it was from. It was some hacker group, but they said like they put James White's name on it, which was the reporter who was just murdered. So I mean, it's just like how sick can people be? You know, like you got a lot of people talking about is it Ukraine? Is Ukraine involved because he's on the enemies list of Ukraine and all this stuff? But it's just like I imagine it's probably some domestic leftist organized, you know, provocateur type activist types. And it's just so sad that people have such spiritual sickness in their heart that they just can't humanize the people that they disagree with, you know? It's like I genuinely feel bad for leftists and for liberals. It's like I just can't help but see myself in them. And while it's very easy to get angry at them and, you know, especially when you're talking issues, I just can't help but feel bad for them. But they cannot. They literally do not have the capacity to feel that empathy for Trump supporters, conservatives, anybody who's, you know, right of them and their views. It's like they don't have the faculty to actually humanize the other side. And so it's like they could literally just rub in your face that somebody you cared about was murdered and like laugh at it and feel good about it. Like, Lord have mercy. Like, there but for the grace of God go I. I'm so grateful that I am not like that. I'm so grateful that God has called me out of liberalism and activism and leftism. And I just truly hope that these people find peace and repent and that they aren't stuffed headfirst into the meat grinder before it's too late to back out. You know, I'm glad that God gave me a view of that meat grinder and I was able to see it and realize that this was not a good thing to be engaged in. And I just hope that for these activists. And I don't get the allure to swatting or any of that stuff. It's just it's shameful. It's disgusting, and I don't even know what to say. Like what do you do about it? You know what's the tactics other than just like we hope that the government will do their job. It's a very powerless feeling of like yeah these people are just above the law and we're just supposed to follow all the rules. I mean there's nothing else you can do I guess so. It is what it is, man. As our homie Hendo says, it is what it is. All right, what y'all talking about? They put pineapple on Owen's pizza? That's a real question, dude. I didn't get that detail. I'll have to get back to you on that. Tucker had Colonel McGregor on his show, and I think it was partially a preview of what's going to happen in the next year. Yeah, I've been watching all the Tucker shows lately. Which one was the Colonel McGregor one? I got to double check on that because I've been watching all of them. I was actually just watching one before I did this show. I was watching the Bob Lighthizer one all about the Trump tariffs. Definitely recommend you guys watch that. That was a really good video. It looks like I got all but 5 minutes from the end. He's just sort of explaining a lot about the economic plans and stuff. That was pretty good. And then the Colonel McGregor one. Which one was that? Let's see. Oh, was that a while ago? 'Cause I've not seen it lately. Yeah, so that's pretty much all I got, y'all. I mean, we went for an hour. I was wondering if I should pull up, if we should end with some radio shows or something, but I don't have any pulled up, so I'd have to like sort one out. So I think we'll just do a separate show, some later date, talking about radio shows, listening to radio shows. That's all of my notes that I had. That's pretty much everything I want to talk about. I'm trying to think if there's any big news stories that we haven't touched on that have happened since. I mean, there's been so much going on. Um, but I don't think I mentioned about, Slowboy had said in the beginning that all of his executive orders have been reversed. I don't think they've all been reversed. And I don't even think that most of them have been reversed. I think that these judges are trying to slow walk it. I don't think that these judges are going to actually stop him from implementing his agenda. I just think that they're just trying to gum up the works and try to fight back against the momentum that he's been building. I don't see, all of those things, all of those suits, or even most of them holding up in court. Not that I'm some legal expert, but I'm just saying, like, it seems pretty clear cut that the executive has control of the executive branch. Seems pretty obvious. One thing that seems like they did a whoopsie on was apparently they had some federal judge had launched a suit about Doge firing USAID workers, and apparently it would have been fine had Trump fired them, but because Elon Musk fired them, it wasn't fine. And so it boggles the mind why they let Elon Musk fire these people if all that needed to happen was Trump say, "You're fired," instead of Elon. During the discovery in the lawsuit, they found out that Elon Musk was the one behind firing them, and so now it's like, all right, great. So what? We're going to have to pay all these USAID employees like a bunch of money now from the taxpayer dollar, like, and they probably get to keep their job for a certain amount of time. Like, who knows what's going to happen? But like, that's the kind of stuff that's really frustrating. It's like, I get that y'all are spinning a million plates, but like, come on, dude. Like, I'm expecting some freaking airtight plans, operations, military operations. I thought you guys were going in there to, you know, wage war on the corruption, but instead it just seems like y'all are bumbling around like Mr. Magoo, hoping that you can figure it out as you go. Like, I remember hearing you talk about the refugees up in the hotel. Yeah, right down here. Hopefully they're gone. I don't see them around anymore, but I know, I haven't seen any major numbers being reported as far as deportations here. I've seen 2 so far, so hopefully they get rid of them by the time that Trump's out of office. If we get a new Democrat in power, then I guess it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. It was getting a little dicey over here, man. It was getting a little scary. I'm not gonna lie. Remember when he called him Elon? Very Norm-esque. All right, y'all. I think that's it. I think that's all I got for you today. Yeah, we're gonna wrap it up. God bless everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out with us as we gave Trump his report card. I'd say he's got about a C so far. I'm not totally bummed on it, but like there's just so many unanswered questions that I can't really give an accurate thing. I've been very happy. His rhetoric's great, and I am happy about what he's doing. I'm certainly not regretting voting for him, but it's like I really hope to see some of these more important things actually gain some headway. So we will come back, I'm sure, at a later date and give further analysis on that. But until then, that's just going to have to do. Guys, if you like the channel and you want to support the channel, we got all of the tip links in the chat and in the description. You can send in tips. And, before I sign off, I will check to make sure I didn't miss any super chats. And then also, if you like the channel, you can like the video and share the video. That also helps us out a lot. So thank you guys for doing that. All right, let's just check real quick, see if we got a $5 super chat from Jason. Thank you so much, Jason. Really appreciate you, brother. God bless. Super, super appreciate you. Thank you, brother. And yeah, until next time, y'all, Lil Ewok signing off. God bless. Good night. Have a blessed Lent. And I'll see y'all soon. Peace out.